And this is our Europa League draw reaction. If you're watching it a little bit later, we'll put a timestamp in the top comment for you so you can go directly to the draw. But if you're watching live, then you don't know what the draw is yet, because I don't know what the draw is yet. And very excited about this. I mean, look, it's going to have a massive impact on Manchester United's season, of course, because we're going to be playing Thursday, Sunday. Unfortunately, Arsenal, if you are tuning in, you're only here to watch. You're not participating. That's your own fault. So we're going to talk about some Manchester United news before the draw, which is going to start at about midday. We'll go through some of the teams that we could get, but also we'll talk about some latest Manchester United news to start off with as well. Omar wants to face Arsenal. You're going to have to wait till next season, unless we get them in the Cup. I suppose that could happen, of course. But interesting news coming out about Anthony Martial. I mean, this is going to develop, I think, during the day as well. But Martial didn't play last night in the Europa League game against Club Brugge. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer telling us that he had a little bit of a knock. He turned up for the game in the morning and failed a fitness test. Apparently, he's going to have a scan this morning, which a scan on an injury doesn't sound good, does it? But it may not be. It may not be as bad as we're hoping. There is still a chance that he could play against Everton at the weekend, but this is still the problem at Manchester United. You know, you bring a player in like Bruno and it galvanises the team, and the team does very, very well. But you lose a player, a key player, and you see the fragility of this squad. And if we lose Martial, we haven't got Rashford. It's all on Ighalo, isn't it? And, you know, we are always one injury away from trouble. I think we're starting to get players back in the midfield, but in the attack, we're still quite lightweight. So we will see what happens with that, but hopefully it's not too major in relation to Anthony Martial, because I think he's doing so well at the moment. But, you know, I'm a massive fan of Anthony Martial, and I really am. I think Martial and Bruno are probably my favourite two players at the moment, without a shadow of a doubt. But I've always said about Anthony Martial, he does pick up injuries. He's not the sort of player to sort of stay fit for 4 or 5 months, and we desperately need him at this time of the season. And again, question marks will be asked about Manchester United and their fitness side of things. I mean, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself saying after the game yesterday that I always said that Rome wasn't built in a day. It's going to take time. We made decisions in the summer that we knew it was going to take time. And it's easy for Ole to come out with these comments now when things are going well. Things need to keep going well, and it's all right Ole coming out and saying, oh, you know, after we've won 5-0, I said Rome wouldn't be built in a day, but we're playing really well at the moment. Well, a couple of injuries, a couple of bad performances, and you're back enduring the worst season we've had in 30 years again. So we just got to be very, very careful. I think Ole is naive. I think he is naive. He's learning on the job. I've always said that. It's not even a criticism. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is naive. He's spoken about the Everton game. He's spoken about the 4-0 loss, and he's come out with lines like, this team won't give up like that team did. I mean, what if we've not played the game yet? Wait to say that till after the game, because what if we get someone sent off in the first 4 minutes and we get beat 6-0? You know, just keep it on the lowdown. Yes, we're doing well, but we've got some tough games coming up, and I think we just need to be a little bit careful of that. Please do smash a like on the video if you are watching, and we have got the Europa League draw coming up for you at midday. Very excited about that. We'll go through some of the teams in a moment, but a lot of people talking about Arsenal. Look, I've got to be honest, I'm very surprised that Arsenal have been knocked out. I actually think, you know what, Arsenal's next 4 Premier League games are all relatively easy. I mean, I know it's Arsenal, and they could get back into a top 4 race because they're not going to be playing. I mean, look, to be honest with you, I wanted Arsenal to go through. I know it's very funny that they've gone out, but I did want Arsenal to go through because I actually thought United Arsenal final, how great would that be? Or even a semi-final. I would have liked to have seen it. And Ethan Wolf says AFTV was lovely to watch last night. Well, they can have their time in the sun for last night's game, isn't it? But they're going to miss out on a lot of games, aren't they now? So you want to be in this trophy. I'm very glad that Manchester United in it. Reese Gregory says anyone but Inter and Getafe. Are they who you think are the strongest teams then, Reese? Because I personally think that the strongest teams in this tournament are probably not Getafe and Inter. I personally think that the German teams could be teams to look out for, especially by Leverkusen. And I think Wolves would be tough. I don't want Wolves. I really don't want Wolves. Anyone but Galatasaray, says Carito Janga. Are they in it? I haven't noticed even Galatasaray. Galatasaray aren't in it, mate. They were knocked out in the Champions League, didn't drop down. I don't want Olympiacos, says Mitchell. Like, oh yeah, we do want Olympiacos. Let's show Arsenal how it's done. And why I want to draw the Italian United rejects, says Ted Cat. I really wouldn't mind getting into Milan. I think, look, let's have a quick look at that while we're talking there. The subscriber count is wrong, actually. It needs updating. I know why. It's because on this scene I've got the I have to do it manually on this one because it's been playing up a little bit. So let me just change it to that. It did this before. It's done this before. I'm just going to turn it off. It's annoying me. Right. Not Wolves, says Michael Jones. Mark, the Europa League is not the same without us in it, says Zane. It's funny. It's like a comedy. Right. Let's have a look at some of the teams we could get then. So Rangers are in it. I mean, I've got to be honest. Rangers did very well against Braga to win in Portugal as well. So Rangers, look, I don't know about you lot. You know what I say. If Real Madrid were in it, I'd want Real Madrid. I always want United to get the harder games. I'm looking forward to Sunday. Next week, I'm looking forward to the derby. I like the hard games. I like playing Liverpool. I like hard games for United because that's where you learn. I can't wait for Everton, like I say. So, do I want an easy tie? If we get an easy tie, great. It makes it a little bit easier to go into the next round. Ideally, you probably want Inter to get Getafe, you want Bayer Leverkusen to get Sevilla, you want everyone else to get a hard game and us not. But I personally don't care who we get, and if I'm honest, I would like an interesting tie. So Rangers would be very interesting. Inter Milan, of course, Lukaku, Ashley Young, this maybe Alexis Sanchez. I would love that. I think we would beat them as well, so I think it would be great. Celtic obviously are out, so it'd be FC Copenhagen. I think that would be a good draw for United. Shakhtar Donetsk. I mean, that's not really a tie I want, really, because the travelling, I think we do need to factor that in a little bit. The travelling is not ideal if you're going to play away in Russia or Ukraine on a Thursday and then you're playing, I don't know, bloody Spurs away on the Sunday. That's not what we want, and that is a possibility. So these Europa League ties, we play Derby County next Thursday, then the Thursday after, which is the Thursday before we play Spurs, we could play. We could be away before away to Spurs, which is a big game. So hence maybe an easier tie would help. So Shakhtar Donetsk, Olympiacos, Arsenal, Getafe knocked Ajax out. That would be decent. Wolfsburg, Germany, Lask knocked out AZ Alkmaar, which I was quite surprised about, to be honest. Roma, Istanbul. That would be an interesting game. And Bayer Leverkusen, that would be a hard game. Wolves and Basel. Oh, you know what? Can I just say who I think we're going to get? I think we're going to get Lask or Basel. That's my prediction. That's who I think we're going to get, which wouldn't be a bad one. Okay, just imagine Rangers. Let's get Rangers. A lot of people saying let's get Rangers. I wouldn't mind getting Rangers, to be honest with you. I want Gerrard to cry again. What? I want Inter payback, says Mashak. I think they've paid us enough. I think we've done all right out of Inter Milan. I haven't got a massive problem with Inter, to be honest with you. Lead guitarist for Queen, playing for Arsenal and crying again. He only there a couple of months, says Georgie Best. Copenhagen can surprise you, Mark, coming from a Dane, says Christopher Danielson. And you know what? I think, look, what I would say about Manchester United is I'm just enjoying it. Let's just take it game to game at the moment. I think there's a lot of people getting carried away, which is great. I always think, optimism is a good thing, and there is reason to be optimistic. But let's have a look at it. Watford were crap, and we beat them. Club Brugge were down to 10 men, and we smashed them. And Chelsea, realistically, if they could have finished, I don't think we'd have won that game. So I think the main thing for me is that Manchester United are getting momentum and confidence, and momentum and confidence can build results, and I think that's the most important thing. But what I would say is that what is the situation with I think I'm being a bit thick here. You know, Istanbul, they're not Galatasaray, are they? Because Galatasaray, how can Galatasaray be in the Europa League? Because they were in Bruges' group. So it's only the third place team that drops into the Europa League, which is why I'm like, Galatasaray shouldn't be in this. Galatasaray were in the same group as Real Madrid, Club Bruges, and PSG. So if you finish fourth, how can you be in the group? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm getting confused here. I'm getting confused live on air. Somebody, there's brainier people than me in the live comments that will certainly clarify that for us. What happened to your throat again, says Jay? Don't know. odd question, but there you go. No, it's a different team, says NF. And I want FC, Inter and Lukaku, says Simply Sofas. Where do Lask play, says Levi Howden. Just Google it. And I don't know why the media is portraying us in a negative light when we're getting results. I don't know what we have to do to get some credit, says Ted Cat. I don't really read the mainstream media, but I don't know. I hadn't really noticed that Manchester United, and it is a different team, Istanbul, which is what I'd thought. Gael Clichy plays for them. I wanted an easy team, Mark, because I want to win the Europa League and finish fourth, says Nanook. He wants the easy path to the final. Mark, I really want us to get Olympiacos. They are bloody immense. Best fans in the world, no doubt. Going to Greece will be tough, says George Barajas. I think I've got no problem with United getting Olympiacos, but I think the whole, Olympiacos will suddenly sell a load of shirts in North London if we get them, and there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans praying that we lose. And I just don't... Arsenal are out. Leave the Europa League to the big boys. Don't. If we get Olympiacos, it'll be Arsenal fans all over going, oh, come on, Olympiacos. And I'm just like, look, you got bantered by Olympiacos. We'd rather play somebody else. Welcome to the United Stand Members Club, Brad Devil. Really, thank you for joining. You can do that through the join button. Look, a lot of people talking about Inter Milan. I'm not concerned about Inter Milan in the slightest. I really am not. I'm not worried about Inter Milan. I watch a lot of Italian football. I should have a T-shirt that says I watch a lot of Italian football. I've watched it from 1990. Channel 4, Gol Lazzo, Gaza, David Platt, Vialli. I've watched it for years and years. And to be honest with you, Serie A this year is a great league to watch because it's very tight at the top. But I always say this, the Italian league is a long way from catching up with the best in the world. I don't think we'll see an Italian Champions League winner in the next 5 years because their league is slow. They can't do anything about it, but their league is a lot slower than the Premier League, than the Bundesliga, than La Liga. Lyon beat them and deserved to beat Juventus the other night, who are far and away the best Italian side. So I'm not worried about Inter Milan. I think people think Inter Milan are one of the favourites. They're not. I mean, Inter Milan were in a group with Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona aren't that good. They're not. So they're good, but they're not like if Liverpool play Barcelona, they'll beat them. If Man City play Barcelona, they'll beat them. So I don't think Inter Milan are that good. So I would like to play them out of curiosity, but I don't think they're that good. I really don't. What time is the draw, says Saf Rahman. So it starts around midday. Got my telly there. I'm looking at my telly there. There's knee porn on it. And when are you playing FIFA again, says Joshua Everett? I don't know. I'm very busy at the moment. Probably next week. So what time is the draw at midday? You leave Europa League to the big boys. Yes, Willis, I agree with you. And look. I tell you what. I personally think, and I want everyone to comment on this in the live comments. What's the one team you want to avoid? I think this is the exciting thing. What's the one team you want to avoid in the Europa League? Because I'll tell you who I want to avoid. Bayer Leverkusen. I think German teams this year are very hard, and I think that that sounds like more like Mourinho. I think that the German teams are very good this year. We've seen Leipzig play Spurs off the park. We've seen Bayern Munich play Spurs and Chelsea off the park. We know that Borussia Dortmund are very good, and Bayer Leverkusen, I think they're in the top 4 in the Bundesliga. So Leverkusen, to me, look like a good side. They're the one side I wouldn't want. Well, actually, I wouldn't mind playing. I'd be excited about it, but I think that's going to be I think that would be a tough game. But when you look at the Europa League and how it's developed, Ajax are gone, Arsenal are gone. Benfica are gone. So some of the teams that you think, well, they could cause us a problem, they're gone already. So on the other hand, if you get an easier draw and everyone else, if Leverkusen get Inter, one of them's got to go. But there's not really a team that I fear, and I think with United, with Pogba coming back, it's gonna get quite interesting. And I want to talk about Pogba in a moment. Think United should sign Iserman and Samari Swoop, says HDD. And Europa League is for big teams like Manchester United. Look, I'd rather be in the Europa League than nothing. And to be honest with you, Chelsea fans, Spurs fans, Arsenal fans, you're in nothing anymore. You're out. So we're not. A lot of people saying Wolves, to be fair. Aranajan Gosh says Wolves. Nazim Duncan says Wolves. And Josh Duke with the super chat says, would you play Bailly or Lindelof against Everton? I think Bailly complements Maguire better. Well, we're going to do the Everton preview a little bit later, but I think for Eric Bailly last night, it was, the sending off didn't help him, did it? Because there was, I couldn't give Maguire, Romero or Eric Bailly anything better than a 6 out of 10 because they just had a nothing game. So Eric Bailly hasn't really done anything more than what he did against Chelsea to get that team spot. And I think that with regards to that, you see that Lukaku goal? With regards to that, I think he'll pick Lindelof. I would have picked Bailly against Watford, but I think he'll go with Lindelof. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they wouldn't like to get Wolves in the next round, which I do get. I mean, we've played Wolves so many times. It would just be about, in part of me thinks that we will get Wolves. Joel Young, I can't find it anymore. It's gone off the screen, so I apologise for that. Stop putting the same comment in. David Hunt, welcome, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. And I still can't quite believe that Bruno is actually ours. He's been my dream signing for over a year, says G McLeod. Could be me talking. And well done with the show, Mark. Watching since 2016, says Connor Campbell. Yeah, please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. The United Stand. We're live every single day. We've got call-ins, fan cams. We'll have a preview going up for you later on the channel. Lots and lots going on, so do get involved with it. And obviously we'll be live every night at 8 o'clock as well. And it is Gin Friday. You're right, Pranish. I'll be having one of those later. But with regards to, we'll be live for the watch along, of course, on Sunday for Manchester United versus Everton, which is a massive, massive, massive game. Getafe, I don't know much about, Kyle Massey. Getafe are an interesting one. The draw's coming up in about 10 minutes, although they'll be playing with their balls a little bit first, won't they? But Getafe is an interesting one. They're again, I think they're in the top 4 in the La Liga at the moment, so they're having a good season. And I think Getafe and Leverkusen are probably quite dangerous. They are dangerous sides to get. So the top 10 chart show will be out tomorrow morning. You've got to start watching the chart show on the United Stand. It's one of the best shows on the United Stand now. So every week we do. Basically, if you remember Top of the Pops, you remember when music used to be good and you used to watch the chart show and now it's crap? Like, music should absolutely boss top 10s because that's where top 10s all started. But it's boring now, the music industry, in relation to top 10s. It's just gone. So anyway, what the United Stand have decided to do is to bring the old chart show back in relation to United players. So we've been doing it for 2 weeks and Fred's been at number 1 for 2 weeks. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it every week, obviously, and we'll be able to see players coming in and out, but also we'll be able to, someone's going to have the record for being number 1, and can somebody ever beat it, etc. So it's good. We're on to week 3. That'll be out tomorrow morning. Top 10 United players of the week. I think Fred and Wan-Bissaka have been 1 and 2 for the last 2 weeks. It'll be interesting to see. I already know somebody's dropping out of the top 2 because somebody's going into the top 2. But yeah, looking forward to that. Are you going to do a Wales United Stand meetup? Says Joel Young. There's all sorts of jokes there, Joel. I hadn't planned on doing a Wales one. Ireland is getting one because there's just so many Manchester United fans there. But, Wales, state your case. And Scotland. Welcome to Patrick Orusco, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for joining in. What about Lask Lynch, says Horst Rubinkite. I don't know anything about them. To be honest with you. Lingard will never be in any top 10, says Cresswell. So I can tell you categorically, Jesse Lingard, even though he got an assist yesterday, does not make it into this week's top 10. And I haven't even done the top 10 yet. So, yeah, he won't be making it. But I think what's interesting about the Europa League, and it basically reflects what the Europa League is as well, is that if you look at Leverkusen, and I'm watching Leverkusen on the TV here, and I think Leverkusen are a good side. They're on BT at the moment. They're just showing the highlights of the Europa League. They're a good side, Leverkusen. And I think that the Europa League pretty much is the Poundland Champions League. You've got to own that. Of course you have. And if you look at Leverkusen, not quite going to win the league, but in the top 4. If you look at Getafe, not quite going to win their league, but in the top 4. United, we're sort of hopefully on the way back. So there's a number of teams there, and I think Manchester United will be considered the favourites by a lot of people, not because we should be the favourites, but because we're a big name. Another win with respect to your 10-game segment analysis. The graph goes up again, light at the end of the tunnel with regards to the season, says Sankar Subrata. Yeah, but those 10 games analysis are on league games, not on... I don't do cup games. Edward Walters says, Mark, I know it may not be in our best interest games-wise, but I would love to stick it to Gerrard or Lukaku. They will be haunted by Bruno forever. Team to avoid is Bayer Leverkusen for sure. Leverkusen look good, and I'm actually watching them right now, but I did think that about Leverkusen before the game. So the team I want to... Let's play another game. The team I want to avoid is Leverkusen. The team I want to get, if I'm absolutely honest with you... Rangers, because it's the least travel time as well. Rangers is Wolves is the least Wolves will be a bloody nightmare because it'll be a battle over 2 legs. Rangers, I don't think Rangers are all that. I don't, and I'm being really disrespectful to Rangers here, but it's Scottish football. I think it would be an exciting game. I think they'd raise their game, but the least travel time. I think Rangers is the team I want, and it's got a bit of glamour to it. So I'd like Rangers because I think we'll win as well. And I don't want Bayer Leverkusen. So they're the two teams that I want. So if you get in the live comments, I'll read some out. The team you want and the team you don't want. People are just saying Rangers. We don't want Sevilla. Yeah, but Sevilla nearly went out, didn't they? I know Sevilla have got a good record in the Europa League, but I don't think Sevilla would cause as many problems. Would you rather we got challenge or an easy draw, says Aram Hakmar. I want a challenge, really. But then, looking at the league fixtures, which I'm just getting up here, looking at the league fixtures, we play Derby next Thursday, and then on the Sunday we've got Old Trafford, Manchester Derby. Then on the Thursday we'll be playing whoever we get drawn against. Then on the Sunday we're playing away at Spurs. Then on the Thursday it'll be second leg of whoever we get, and then on the Sunday we're playing Sheffield United. So we've got 2 big league games after both the Europa games. So if we get an easy draw, I think it helps us in the league. If we get a tough draw, obviously it's going to make it a little bit tougher. So, yeah, it swings and roundabouts, but I can't lie to people. I always do prefer a harder game, and that's just the way I am. I just prefer a harder game. So, but we'll see how it goes. We'll get who we get, and that's just the way it goes. That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. Please do share the video if you're watching. You can share it underneath the screen. We nearly got 10,000 watching, which is fantastic, and we've only got 5 minutes until the draw starts. Excited. I was more excited about this draw yesterday before we played Club Brugge. And to be honest, I don't know why, because we could have got knocked out. We didn't. Jared McCormack, if United get Inter, is Sanchez allowed to play? Yes, my understanding is yes, unless someone tells me not. Jacobs Killers, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for joining. Remember, if you are a member of the United Stand Members Club, please do be checking out the community tab, which is on our homepage of YouTube. If you go to the community tab, we do post things exclusively for the members. I'm going to put something up later on this afternoon, but basically the most important thing we post each week is questions for the podcast, because we only read out the members' podcast questions on the podcast. The podcast is available for everyone. You can check it on the link in the video description. There was a new one out this week, and we do give prizes out on the podcast, but that's good for the members. Mark, I know it may not be... I've read that one from Edward Walters. I've read it. Mark, Fred holding with Grealish and Bruno ahead. Sancho right wing. Can we challenge for the title with that? Tuning in from Manila, says Ton Ball. I'm just so impressed with Fred. I mean, Ricky, I'll tell you what, Flex, Matic, he couldn't help it last night. Matic didn't even play, and there he was on his fan cam. I'll tell you what, Flex, Matic. People talk about Fred and McTominay, but Matic is brilliant, and I'm sure he uttered the words, we should drop Fred for Matic. I mean, Fred don't get dropped for nobody. I was going to mention this. Pogba, right? What do you think about Paul Pogba? Does Pogba come back into the team? I mean, T2 Almaster says, what's Pogba's value? Well, Pogba's value to Manchester United is big because I think if he goes in the summer, we use that money to buy new players. But if United and Ollie are really serious about building a future and building a philosophy and building a team ethic, there is no way on God's earth that Paul Pogba gets fit and comes back into that team. I think the only player who deserves to come back into that team when they're fit is Marcus Rashford because he makes such a difference. And yes, Paul Pogba can make such a difference. And I can hear people saying, oh, he's the best midfielder you've got. But Matic has been great. McTominay is back. Fred's been superb. And Bruno's been brilliant. So why would Pogba walk into that team? For me, when Pogba's fit, he goes on the bench and he waits for a bad performance or a bad result. He doesn't walk into a team that's doing well. That would be the worst thing ever. Now, fortunately for Pogba, when he comes back, we should be playing Thursday, Sunday. So maybe you play Pogba and you rest somebody. But I like Pogba as a footballer. I think he's very, very good. But what I don't want to see is, oh, Pogba's back. Abandon all hope. Let's be Team Pogba again. Because a lot of what I hear from United is people like Pogba, but people are very concerned about Pogba's influence on the team because he's such a big character. But he's not been there for 3 or 4 months, and they've worked through that, and they've become a team without Pogba. So Pogba coming back and being, hey, I'm back, and everyone going, oh, Pogba's back, that could totally disrupt what we're all about. So for me, if Pogba's fit tomorrow for the Everton game, you're on the bench, mate, because people are performing and performing to the level that we want. We want to avoid Italian teams. Match played behind closed doors might make it tougher, says Aram Hekmet. Well, Aram, who knows what's going to happen with regards to that? Apparently, some people saying Alexis Sanchez can't play. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm not, that might be a good thing. But look, I think Pogba's return is going to be really important. If you joined us a little bit late, there is a little bit of concern around Anthony Martial at the moment. He's going to have a scan today on his injury. Now, look, the problem with Manchester United and injuries at the moment is that we've got, if you're out for 2, I mean, this happened last season as well, and it does worry me a bit. And I've said this a few times. Everyone's like, oh, we only need Pogba, Rashford back. We've got a full strength squad. And I'm like, hold on, you're drunk. You're not listening. We always get injuries. We actually had an injury crisis this time last season in February and early March. We always have one in autumn. So we will pick up other injuries, I'm afraid. And with those injuries will be key to how we perform. Now, look, Martial's injury may not be bad enough to keep him out of the Everton game. I really hope it isn't, because I think Martial, look, Agallo can come in and do a job, but he's not Anthony Martial. So we need, George Carl says Martial should be called Glacial. Look, Martial's been absolutely massive for us recently, but if Martial's got a thigh injury and he needs to rest it for a couple of weeks, well, unfortunately, people will go, it's only 2 weeks, but look what's happening in the next 2 weeks. Manchester Derby, both legs of the Europa League, and Spurs. So 4 games that if we lost all 4, we're out of Europe and we're out of the top 4 race. And I think everybody's got a right to be positive at the moment. I like what United are doing, but the next 2 weeks, and it is 2 weeks because it's Sunday to Sunday, where we play Everton this Sunday, Man City next Sunday, the Europa League first leg, and then Spurs. Those next 2 weeks for Manchester United are huge, absolutely huge. So if Martial was out for 2 weeks and then he's got to get Matt Sharp again, really we're hoping that Anthony Martial's injury is just is just that. It's just a minor injury and he's back, because not in my pyjamas today, I'm in my grey tracksuit. Yeah, we need Martial fit for this game without a shadow of a doubt. So, yes, that's where we're at. It is worrying. It is drawing. So the draw is just starting now. I don't know how quick the Europa League do their draws. In the Champions League, they give out prizes to the cafe, the canteen and everybody before every draw. They play around with their balls. They talk to their guests. But I'm hoping Europa League, because you're not the Champions League, they're just going to crack on really, really quickly. But you don't know. You don't know how it's going to work, so we will see what they do, but hopefully it'll be quick. You're doing a great job, Mark, says Jenks1102. I also like Flex Rants, Adam, Ricky, Saeed and others. Different views and opinions. Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, and I saw somebody there saying you need to get rid of Ricky because he's got stupid opinions. Ricky's one of my favourite fan cams because I don't agree with a lot of what he says, but I find him captivating. And I think that's what this channel's always meant to be about. I don't agree with a lot of what Rant says, or Flex, or Ricky, or Saeed, and they won't agree with what I say, and a lot of you won't agree with what I say, and that's the whole point. It's not diverse because of where people are from or how they look or anything like that, or what gender they are. It's diverse because it's different opinion, and that's what football should be. It shouldn't be no racism, no sexism, no homophobia, none of those isms. We want different opinion on this channel, and that's what it's always been about. So I am, whilst I disagree with a lot of opinions, I do respect them as well. Just going to do this live now. Hello, we're live on the United Stand. It's Europa League draw time. Join us now on the United Stand YouTube channel. I'm actually talking to people on the live comments. How are we doing? You can join us now on the United Stand YouTube time. It's the Europa League draw. Live. That's just... Hello, we're live on the United Stand. That's just for my mum. But it's not. It's for an Instagram story. Hope we get Inter, says Manny. I'm excited. Let's get this party started. I.e., let's get this weekend started. Everton on Sunday, so excited. Manchester Derby the weekend after. Derby on next Thursday. I mean, look, FA Cup to me is, I personally think we'll beat Derby, but if we get knocked out, there's a lot of games going on at the moment. But look, I'm really excited. I've always I take the piss out of the Europa League, but I actually do like it. I would rather be playing on a Thursday night than not playing at all. And anybody who didn't... I mean, I saw some Arsenal fans saying, I hope we don't... If we don't get fourth, I hope we don't finish in the Europa League. And I'm like, yeah, but that means next autumn, you just got a whole week off watching everybody else in Europe. And you're going to sit there going, well, I'm glad, it's a waste of time being in it. Come on. I don't know what you lot think, but would you rather be in the Europa League next season or nothing? Because I want to be in the Champions League. That's where I want to be. But I would rather be in the Europa League than nothing, because I want to see United playing games. I want to see, and I think games make you better. And there are some good teams in the Europa League. All right, they're not the creme de la creme. That's where the Champions League is. But you do in the knockout stage, you get some good teams, because Inter Milan were in the Champions League. Teams do drop down from the Champions League that are good. So I like, I want to be in the Champions League, of course I do, but I would rather be in the Europa League than nothing. And I think I really enjoyed winning the Europa League with United under Mourinho. I really did enjoy it, and I think the deeper you get into it, the more exciting it gets. It is. And Mark McKenna says Europe always. It is difficult. It's very difficult, and I don't necessarily. I think from this round. And I wanted to ask you that as well. They're just talking through it at the moment, so the balls will be coming out soon. But I think from this round, a lot of United fans have been saying, do we need to prioritise the Europa League or the Premier League? I think this is the round where we don't have to, but we'll be forced to. Because if we do get a hard draw, like a Leverkusen, as I said, you get Leverkusen away, then you've got Spurs away on the Sunday, then you've got Leverkusen at home, then you've got Sheffield United at home. Those 4 games would define our season. I mean, hopefully we would win all. But at some point, there is a tipping point. Even if you keep winning all your games, I still think at some point you can't do Thursday, Sunday, and get top 4 and the Europa League. I know it has been done before, but I don't think you can. So I think we're moving into that area for United now. Do you think United would make top 4, Mark? Says Paul Okamali. I think we can. I think we definitely can, and I think we've got to be confident about doing it. I think Everton's a massive game. The next 4 Premier League games for us are really, really key. Everton, Manchester City, Spurs and Sheffield United. And all jokes apart, Arsenal's next 4 games, they've got Norwich at home, West Ham at home, Brighton away and Southampton away. So Arsenal could take 12 points from the next 4 games. They could. And we could take 6. And then they'd be above us. So the next 4 games for Manchester United are very, very interesting. Pumpkin Spice Latte. I can't stand Ricky Mark. Why does he expect people to listen to him about Matic and Mata when he won't budge his opinion at all on a player who deserves praise? It's all about different opinions, mate. It's all about different. I just find him funny to watch as well. Please do share the video if you're watching. You can share it underneath the screen. There's a share button to share it on Twitter and Facebook. We have got 12,000 people watching Manchester United's Europa League draw at midday. It just shows that Manchester United are all box office. So let's see if we can get up to 15,000 watching. Thanks everyone who's tuning in. Please do subscribe to the channel if you're new. Bottom right hand corner, we'll have Everton preview. We've got the chart show in the morning. We've got the game on Sunday. Lots and lots to come. People now saying Mata is good enough, says Zed Jamie. I don't want to talk about Juan Mata. He played really well last night, but I've watched Juan Mata for the last 5 years at Manchester United, and the bottom line is, over the last 2 years, Juan Mata has decreased massively in relation to his energy levels and speed. In a game like yesterday, it suits him. You can't play Mata against Everton. He'll get absolutely knackered. I thought he was knackered in the last 20 minutes last night. But in certain games, he's really good. I think in the Europa League, that may be good for Mata. I mean, a lot of people saying, oh yeah, we need to keep Mata for another year. I don't think we do. I think Mata, another year is going to be a little bit slower. But at the moment, he's doing... We are playing games that suit Mata. I think when you're playing at home to Watford, when you're playing at home to Norwich and Brighton, and, you know, the Europa League games, I think Mata comes into his own there, and he has got great experience. But I don't think he's a player for our future. Yusuf, Purcell, Mark, when's FIFA back? I wanted to do it this week, but I sort of ran out of time. I might do a weekend one, actually. Richard Burke says, like the videos. Ricky FC, here we go, says Lincoln Jack. There are... It's a fight in the live comments as to whether you're Ricky FC or not. I like Rick. You know what? Fan cams, I'll watch them. I do watch the fan cams and I really do enjoy them. But Ricky's is the one that I'm always waiting for. There's just something captivating, even though I think he's talking absolute nonsense a lot of the time. There's just something captivating about his fan cams. And sell Pogba and get Upamecano, Grealish and Partey with the money, says Matthew Musto. Look, the summer's the summer and the now is the now. And the now is the now is the now is the Europa League draw, which we're all massively excited for. So really, really, really looking forward to it. And I want to avoid Bayer Leverkusen, of course. I think that's the most important game for us to avoid. And I would like us to get Rangers. Yeah, I like us to get Rangers, if I'm honest with you. I like us to get Rangers. But I think my prediction... Right, get your predictions in the live comments. I predict we're going to get Lensk or Basel. Two of those two that I've pronounced terribly. FC Basel or Linky Links, whatever they're called. I think we'll get one of those two, which would be a good draw. But I want Rangers or Inter. And I don't want Bayer Leverkusen or Wolves, because I think they're going to be really difficult games that we don't need. I think if you get Leverkusen or Wolves, we might be forced into prioritising one or the other in relation to the Europa League or the Premier League. I think if we get an easier draw, we can keep doing both at the same time. So the draw, they're all having a chat at the moment. I think they're talking about what they're going to have for lunch afterwards. Dieter Hamann there. And welcome. Thanks for the contribution from Connor Atkinson 7. Let's go Olympiacos, says Chester Young. I think Inter Milan, says Jamie Halwood. I mean, somebody's going to get it right. Rob Davies says Copenhagen. BB2 Gamer says Wolves. Ashley Evans says Wolves. Apparently, there was a rumour going round that in the dry run, apparently they dry run these draws. In the dry run, we did get Wolves. So we'll see. Istanbul would not be a good draw, just simply because it's a bit of a trek and it would be hard. The bottom line is, we are going to have an away tie before Sheffield United or Spurs. And I would rather we got the away tie before Sheffield United because we're home to them. But we will have an away tie before Sheffield United or Spurs. That's why I don't want Shakhtar Donetsk, Dimitri. There is some games that would be pretty demanding. I don't want Olympiacos because it will just be all about Arsenal and they're out. Arsenal aren't staying in the Europa League with Olympiacos, so I don't want Olympiacos because Arsenal will claim it as that's them. Oh, Olympiacos beat us because we all wanted them to win it. Really, we're all going to support them. So I don't want them at all. I don't want them. Few people are actually saying we'll get Arsenal. I'm enjoying the banter there. And I remember a time when we didn't need to prioritise because we had the best squad, says Roger Stick 7. No, I've got to be honest, Roger. I'll jump on anything that is negative. I'm only joking. I think Europa League and top 4 is very hard. I was very impressed when Chelsea did it. It's very hard to do it. So the draw is about to start, I think, and we're up and running. Here we go. I'm so excited. We're in it and you're not. Arsenal, you're not in it and we are. What a bunch of prats. I wanted you to go through. But here we go. First team out of the bag is going to be Istanbul. Now, we don't want this. It's so exciting, isn't it? When I hope we don't come out first. But we don't want Istanbul. They're first out. We don't want this one. Whoa. I can't do that. I'll run out of breath. So Istanbul are out first. Who are we going to get? We don't want them. We don't want... I think we beat them, but it's the travelling. Thoughts on Man United versus Wolfsburg? It's Copenhagen. It's Copenhagen for Istanbul. So, thoughts on Man United versus Wolfsburg, says Sanka. I don't know much about Wolfsburg. I think they're like mid-table. Why do you prefer Inter over Leverkusen and Wolves? I think Inter would be tougher. Love the show, by the way, says Samuel Sarandev. Because I watch a lot of Italian football. It's slower than the Premier League, and I think Bundesliga is better. Always Olympiacos then. Olympiacos. Arsenal fans are praying we come out against them so that they can hopefully beat us. I don't want Olympiacos. So the first game was Istanbul versus Copenhagen. The next game is going to be Olympiacos versus... Wolves. Wolves. Olympiacos versus Wolves. I will laugh. I will love it if Wolves beat Olympiacos and absolutely deliver a massive L to Arsenal. So we haven't got Olympiacos and we haven't got Wolves, which is... I didn't want Wolves, so I'm very happy with that. We've avoided Wolves. How many games will there be? 8. So the next team out the bag. This is great. Share the video. Subscribe if you're new. Rangers. Whoa. I like this. I'll have this. We'll have this one, Dieter. We'll have this one, Dieter. His name's Dieter Hamann. I'm not just talking in some weird language. Dieter Hamann. Pull out Wolves. Pull out United. We want to send Slippy G crying again. So this is it. Rangers against... Oh, Leverkusen! Wow, that's good. That's a good draw for Rangers, and it's a good draw for us. So, I didn't want Wolves. I didn't want Leverkusen. We haven't got them. It's Rangers versus Leverkusen in the third tie. So far, we've got Wolves against Olympiacos, and Rangers will play Leverkusen. Wolfsburg come out next. The first game was Istanbul against Copenhagen. So we're not getting Rangers, we're not getting Wolves. We could get Wolfsburg, let's see. I don't know much about Wolfsburg other than they're a Bundesliga side, so they might be quite good. Shakhtar Donetsk, back of the net. We're not going to the Ukraine. It's going well for United so far. Remember what I said? I said we'll get Basel or Lynx. And at the moment, it's bang on. It's bang on for that. So we're not going to Ukraine. That's another good result for us. Inter Milan. Oh, if we finish 4th and won the Europa, would 5th or 6th get the Champions League? You've lost me there, Johnny White. You've lost me there. Somebody will answer it. I love the channel mark, says Sam Lambsden. Thank you for helping keep the fire alive. Well, let's see if Manchester United get Inter Milan. It's Inter Milan are out the bag. And it's Getafe. These are really good draws for Manchester United. We're going to get a good draw, you know. These are good draws for United. You've got Bayer Leverkusen against Rangers, so one of them's going out. You've got Inter versus Getafe, so one of those are going out. This is looking like a really good draw for Manchester United in the Europa League. Sevilla, well, we could get Sevilla. As long as we avoid this, I think we'll get a good draw, because we'll probably get Basel or Link, or whatever they're called. Or Eintracht Frankfurt. Sevilla coming out. We're always one of the last balls in everything, says Jenks 1102. Roma against Sevilla. So we're looking very good here. I told you we're going to get Basel or Lynx. Get this all over social media. I predicted this. I said we'll get Baza. We'll get Basel or Lynx. Eintracht Frankfurt. Basel. I told you, we've got that Lynx team, whatever they are. I've got it right, and that's a good draw for Manchester United. A very good draw. Performances have been a lot better, upbeat, sarcastic, but ultimately I think he's just too inexperienced and has tactical knowledge just isn't developed enough. Ricky out says upbeat, sarcastic. So it's Lask of Austria, I think. I don't know much about these. United versus Lask. We'll have a look at them in a moment. But I predicted this before the draw. I tell you what, I predicted it. And to be honest with you, it's only a guess. But that is a really good draw for Manchester United. A really, really, really good draw. It's straightforward. It should be very easy. And it's the perfect draw for United. Basel or Lask. I predicted it. And we've got... It could have been Basel as well. But that is probably the easiest draw we could have had, isn't it? I don't know much about them, but we are basically through to the next round. I'll just wind up a few Arsenal fans. So first leg will be away, which will be before the Spurs game, which is a bit of a pain, but I think you've got to start to prioritise the Europa League a little bit now. Arrogant tweet from Goldbridge. What do you expect? What do you expect? But we'll play Lask in the last 16. Lask in the last 16. So let's have a look at what they're all about. I don't know is the honest answer, but we'll have a look at them, see what we can find. I mean, look, to be fair to them, I've got to be absolutely fair to them. They did knock out AZ Alkmaar, and I thought AZ Alkmaar were a decent team. So... Manchester United, we've got to be a little bit careful. They did well, and they're in the same league as Red Bull Salzburg, which is obviously the team of Erling Haaland. So they drew 1-1 in Holland, and then they beat AZ Alkmaar 2-0. And let's have a quick look at that game. Actually, they beat them 2-0. They had a man sent off. They play like a 3-4-3. I mean, we'll research them a lot better than that. And in their domestic league, they are top of the league ahead of Red Bull Salzburg. So they don't score many goals. They've scored 44 goals this season and conceded 18. Mate, look, I'm happy with that draw. Ultimately, I'm happy with that draw. Very happy with it. It's Austria, not particularly far, not a hard tie. You look at Rangers and Bayer Leverkusen, that's a big game. You look at Getafe and Inter Milan, that's another big team gone. You look at Wolves and Olympiacos, that's another two. You know, we've got a very, very good draw. Varchester United, little bit of luck for Ollie. This is about momentum. This is it. You know, that's another 2 games to go and win there. Second leg is at home as well. So, you know, go and get an away goal. Very, very pleased. Easy peasy, says Avion. And they're a good side, says Astara. I don't know how... look, what I would say is you've got to respect everybody in this tournament now because they've got through their group and they've got through a knockout stage. And look, if Lask had knocked out Arsenal, you'd probably say they're a bit crap. They've knocked out AZ Alkmaar. I thought AZ Alkmaar were a good side against us. I mean, we beat them, but I think they're a good side. David B says, who did Arsenal get? Yeah, like, they forgot Arsenal. They forgot Arsenal. Oh, no, they got knocked out. Banter. But seriously, I think that is a good draw for Manchester United. It could have been a lot harder. We could have been going to the Ukraine. You could have gone to Turkey. You could have got Inter Milan. You could have got Bayer Leverkusen. So, good draw. These games will go like this then as well. So we'll play Derby in the FA Cup on Thursday. Then we'll play Manchester City at home on the Sunday. We'll then travel to Austria on the Thursday to play Lask. Then we'll come back and travel to London to play Spurs. Then we'll be at home second leg against Lask. And then we'll be at home against Sheffield United. So not hard, not harsh. Arsenal got EastEnders, says Dave MUFC. Love it. Absolutely love it, Whitehead. They're a good side in their league, says Patrick St. Pierre. But they are a good side in their league, but they're Austrian. Like, it's an Austrian league. It's not a league that we need to be too worried about. So, I think Ollie will be happy. I think I'm happy. I think you're happy. And oh, that's bad news. Just that'll be cancelled anyway. Not worried. Just team news for my team tomorrow. Austria's a lovely place for flex. Yes. And got a super chat coming in. I really wanted Inter Premier League rejects as Seymour Turner Jr. The thing about the draw is you get all excited about it, but to be honest with you, there is always two ways of thinking, isn't there? There's the do you want a hard game because it's interesting to watch, or do you actually want to win the trophy? And if you think about a World Cup, if England, France, and Brazil and Switzerland are in the final semi-finals, do you want to play France or Brazil? You want Switzerland because you want France and Brazil to knock themselves out, don't you? So I think from Manchester United point of view, it's a very good draw. A lot of other teams are having to play each other in tough ties. Like I say, Getafe, Inter, that really could be the end of Inter. I predict it will be. Leverkusen will probably beat Rangers, to be fair. Olympiacos Wolves will be very interesting as well. So there's some really good ties in the Europa League, but for us, we can just watch it and hopefully get our job done, get into the quarterfinals. Get into the quarterfinals, you're 5 games away from winning it. So big draw for Manchester United. A lot of people in the live comments saying, I'll take that, I'd rather have an easier tie than a harder tie. And I'm sure there's Arsenal fans absolutely melting down right now. We've never lost to an Austrian team and we've played 7 and won, drawn 1, says Kashil Dahal. Would have been lovely if we'd got Rangers, says Imstees. I think they're going out now, to be honest. Although, if Rangers can do us a favour, Sevilla versus Roma as well, says George Kyle. I don't rate Roma, George, though. I think we would have beaten Rangers comfortably. I think we would have beaten Rangers as well, but I think we would have beaten Roma. Roma versus Sevilla. I don't think it's a very big game, Brindley. I don't think Roma are that good. And Lask are a good team. They smacked Sporting 3-0 and beat PSV 4-1. Says Ab. Look, I hope they are a good team. But the reality is we're favourites and we would expect to win. Poor result away and we'll have a squad issue, says Patrick St. Pierre. Well, no. Look, at no point am I saying that Manchester United will go to Austria the 3 days before they play Spurs and put a weakened team out, because we'll get beat. You've got to put your strongest team out. There's no two ways about that. We can't not. They're not that bad, and I'm not disrespecting them in that way. They're decent, but you would expect over the 2 games Manchester United would come out on top. So that's what I would expect to happen. Look, anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Very happy with that draw. Very happy indeed. And we move on to Everton. So we've got the Everton preview coming up for you this evening. We've got the chart show coming up for you tomorrow morning. If you don't know what the chart show is, please just watch tomorrow morning. So subscribe and get your notifications on. You can also check out my Premier League preview, which is going up 5 minutes time on That's Football. The link's in the video description for that. Talking a little bit about United, but also why Arsenal are a threat for top 4 for us as well. So lots to get involved in, and I'll speak to you all soon. But really enjoyed that. Lovely Friday lunchtime content for us, and have a good Friday. I'll speak to you later for the Everton preview. But yeah, happy, very happy. Things are going our way for Manchester United at the moment. So thanks for watching. I'll speak to you all soon.